All right, so picture this scenario. You're going to a presentation and you have this pitch document that has your best idea for a plan, a proposal, a business idea, or whatever it is that you're pitching. And you're calling shots from so many different parties. You're calling favors that you owe to get the entire document together. You burn the midnight oil on this document, maybe stay up till 2 a.m. You've presented over, you know the document from start to finish. All of your best ideas are in this document and you kill the presentation. You do so good and you know that, yo, I presented this good, I pitched myself good, I represent myself good, I did a proposal to the best of my abilities, everybody loved it and I get the job. But you don't get the job. You don't get a follow-up email, you don't get a follow-up call, or you get a follow-up email saying unfortunately they're going with somebody else, or unfortunately you didn't make the cut to the next step, right? It not finish yet, hold on. You say, okay, you start doubt yourself. Maybe you weren't that good. Maybe you made a few mistakes here and there. Maybe your ideas weren't all that up to par as you thought, right? Okay. 2 months after, you see an ad on the TV and you're like, but wait, that's my idea. Or you pass something on the road, or you see somebody wearing something, if you were pitching like a design idea or whatever, and you're like, but that's my idea. Like, you're having a deja vu moment because you've thought about this, you've visualized it, you've put it into thought that this is your idea, right? So you're having a deja vu moment. How somebody's supposed to have the same idea as me and execute on the same? Plus, how is that business doing something that is similar to what I presented, right? And you figure it out. Like, it's your idea. It's your idea, maybe edited slightly, but at the end of the day, it's your idea. Has that ever happened to you? Continue watching if that has ever happened to you. And if you're just curious about the do's and don'ts of how to plan, or how to present a plan, proposal, business idea, or a general idea of sorts. All right, and at the end of the video, if I've added some value and if you found some value in what I'm saying, then you can click the like, share and subscribe button, but that's only if you want to. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so firstly, a bit of housekeeping. Zoya is sleeping, so that's why she's not here screaming and everything, and I decided to record this video when she's sleeping for that very purpose, because this is a new series I'm starting that's like a masterclass per se. Am I equipped to teach a masterclass? Maybe, I don't know what really qualifies somebody to teach a masterclass, right? And I want to give some business ideas and just some valuable lessons that persons can use from even my experiences. And of course, this is for you, Zoya, when you are 23 and pitching ideas to other persons and other businesses, right? Second, will I continue this masterclass? Maybe not. I get bored really easily, and sometimes I plan to do something, but then I get bored with it. So just take me as you get me. And now I'm sharing a masterclass on the do's and don'ts of how to present a plan, proposal, business idea, any idea, how to pitch yourself, how to pitch something, what to do, what not to do. So let me just share my story first. So I've been pitching myself, my business ideas, just my general ideas, to many different persons in many different capacities, in many different ways, shape, form, everything, right? Just casually brainstorming with friends. Somebody called me, hey, what do you think about this idea? And I immediately just, run up some ideas that just form on the fly about this, that, and the works. That's a pitch. That's an informal pitch, if you never know, right? But then you have like professional pitches where you go into a business organization, you see an opportunity, you apply for it, you get the opportunity to present, you do the research and you put everything together, and then you present it in a proposal, right? Many times, and this is why I wanted to come on here really quickly before Zaya wake up and really talk about my experience, because the thing is, you see, when you make mistakes, people don't have to make the same mistakes as you, and like they have this thing where they're like, oh, you pay your dues, right? But I don't believe everybody needs to pay the dues if it is that you can learn from somebody who already has. And as a young business professional, you're eager and everything, right? So you're going to like put your best foot forward and put everything on the line for an idea or whatever, right? So at first I started out giving like every single thing of me, like every single thing. Like I'd commit to the task 250,000%. If I'm presenting something, I do the research, I get the graphic artist, I do everything, right? I'm cryptic about exactly what I do, because it's not just in one capacity that you pitch something to somebody, right? So you get all of the forces together and you just kill the presentation. And then just like the scenario that I spoke about earlier, you just don't get called, or you see your ideas being executed by even the same person. The thing is, the law of ethics, they don't really stand when persons have money to lose. Plus, if it's not copyrighted, if you're like a little person and don't have like the power to say, okay, this is my idea, you stole my idea, or I'm going to sue, whatever. It's just a stolen idea at that. And the thing is, like, persons edit it slightly so that you can say it resembles your idea, but you cannot exactly say that, okay, this was my idea, this was my brainchild, right? So that's that. Plus, there's a thing where, you see, if you're good at what you do, if you're really, 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 really good at what you do, every proposal or plan or pitch that you make, you're basically teaching. And when you're teaching people, you're breaking it, because you're good enough, so you're breaking it down to quantifiable bits where you're really empowering them to actually do what you're telling them to do, right? So if you are that good to break down the complicated process of your zone of genius into easily quantifiable, executable steps that other persons can take, best believe that they will take it, right? So that's the first thing. You have to ensure that you have to ensure that basically you're doing the opposite of what you've been taught your entire life, which is, don't teach me how to catch a fish, teach me how to fish. So you have to ensure that you're not teaching the people how to fish, but how to catch a single fish. Oh no, that's not how the saying goes. The saying is, don't give me a fish, teach me how to fish, right? So you have to ensure that you're just giving them a fish and you're not teaching them how to fish and how to execute the process. You're equipping them with the tools and everything, right? So you're not showing them your entire hand. You're just showing them that you have a hand, and you're showing them that you're capable of executing the hand, right? So firstly, the first step, this is my process. So I'm letting it into my head, my process and everything. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at Zaya on the baby monitor, because I want to know when she wakes up, right? So the first thing that I do is I put my best ideas on a document. Like I present this like I'm going to present this a second time when they ask me for more details, right? And after I finish putting all my good ideas down on the document, I strip that baby down to a skeleton. But the skeleton have like a flesh, it just don't have a lot of meat, right? So you strip it down to a skeleton where it shows that you know your stuff. it shows that you have the capacity to do really, 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 really good. And it shows and it hints at your genius, but it doesn't really break it down into quantifiable steps that are executed. They have to come a little further into your mind to actually find out. And the way that they can come a little further into your mind is to offer you the position, to offer you the job, to offer you the opportunity to present and execute your plan, your pitch, your business idea, right? So I'm giving you a little insight into just my creative process and how I think about pitching different ideas and things to different people, companies, organizations, or just like general, right? Obviously, I'm doing this because I'm doing this right now, but maybe in the end I'm be like, yo, should I be divulging this much information? Maybe not, but whatever, it's my masterclass. I can do what I want, and if it is that there are repercussions based on just, if I don't know, the world is so funny, like anybody can watch this and be like, oh, that is what she did when she was pitching to me or whatever. Then it's just that's just how businesses work, right? Because the same way somebody can watch this and be like, I'm the reason that she's doing this because I stole an idea that she presented and I never paid her for it, and boops, I'm using it, right? So it goes either way. So anyways, this is not a this is not an opportunity to vent at all my stolen ideas. It's an opportunity to help other person so that their ideas don't get stolen, because you are so good, you are really good, right? And when you don't get the job, you feel so less, like you weren't good, but you were good, right? They weren't good enough to give you the position, and they just stole your idea, or they got somebody in-house to execute on your idea because it would have been cheaper. Anyways, this is not a venting session. This is not a venting session, right? So anyways, okay. So one, you strip your ideas. Okay, maybe I should probably organize it in such a way. Okay, let me organize it. What to do. All right? Strip your ideas to a skeleton so that you can actually you know what you're presenting, you know, but it's not on paper, especially if you're going to give them a copy of your presentation. So now that's where it comes in, and that's where kind of teasing them comes in as well. So you do a skeleton presentation, right? But in that presentation, you drop a little hint here and there of like ideas that you'd come up with. So for instance, if one of your action item is that you come up with creative content for their business, you write that on the document, but you don't write out the 5 creative ideas that you have, but you can tell them the creative ideas. But more than likely, because it comes so easily to you, yes, they may remember some, but they won't remember everything enough to execute it, and you don't give them a full breakdown of how to do it. So in that way, you're actually giving them the full plan, but in your written, the ones where they can actually go back and read the steps and everything, you don't give them everything, and that is where it comes in. So you're not necessarily cheating them of the information or cheating them of a good proposal. You're just being very mindful of what you write, because they will go back and refer to it and say, is this person good enough for the job? Because the thing is, the spoken word, it dissolves in the air. It dissolves in it. Yes, I will remember for about probably 2 days, but I'll need a written reference. So sometimes at the end of a proposal or at the end of a pitch, somebody asks you to send me a copy of that presentation, right? And you feel like, yeah, you're getting the job, great, and want a copy of the presentation, boops. But then at the end of the day, you don't get it because they use that copy to develop something else. So you have to ensure that the copy that they're getting is a skeleton of your presentation, so that they may not able to bring to mind what you presented, but they know that you presented good and that you presented sense, right? And that's the next thing. You see, when you're presenting, you have to hit them with a few jargons here and there. You have to ensure that you know whatever you're talking about intimately, that you know your stuff and you know your information, and that you are equipped to run whatever thing that they're doing, right? So you have to ensure that you know your stuff. It's not about being cryptic in the information. You have to understand that they need to know that you know what you're talking about, and the only way is for you to tap into the market into which into which you want to go into. Use those jargons, because some people, they only speak jargon. If you're not talking their jargon, you're not talking sense, right? So you need to know. Obviously, you need to do the research. You need to do the research on the business, just the planning, so that you're intimate with the planning. I love to do research to the point where I feel like I'm not separated from them. Like I feel like I'm already part of them. So in the presentation, I'm talking about we, I'm talking about us, I'm talking about our. I'm already invested, and people can see that, right? As opposed to you saying your company, your you know, your team of workers, etc. You know, when you come up and you say, we can do this, we can change up the way that we've been, you know, approaching this, and we can do this and be more dynamic, and we can, it actually gives you a better, actually gives them that you have a better sense of teamwork, which is what they're working for, right? And a commitment and just a connection to the business on a whole, right? And you have to ensure that you're just very confident in your presentation. You're confident in your words. Yeah, you might have nerves here and there, but once you can work over the nerves, then that's good. Yeah, you might start rocky, but it's not usually at the beginning that really counts. It's usually in the middle and at the end, when you get your confidence and you know everything, right? At the beginning of the race, yes, it's good to just get out there, but if you can't get out there because of nerves and your voice shaking and everything, and you work through it and you use that energy and you harness that energy into just speaking, and eventually the fact that you know what you're talking about, it will give you the confidence to speak more passionately about it. You will gain confidence. So don't even worry about that. Don't worry about that, and they will know that you know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's that, right? It's very simple on knowing how to pitch something. And of course, everything needs to look good, because people, they buy, they eat with their eyes. Their first decision is done by seeing, right? So it no matter if you're selling food, it no matter if you're selling clothes, it no matter if you're selling yourself, not in that way, but you understand, right? So you have to look good. You have to ensure that your presentation looks good, it looks professional, it looks at a caliber that they'd want to go to, right? And you have to ensure that everything just comes together. You come together. Your ensemble comes together with your entire thing, your presentation. Everything just comes together. Looks good, feel good, sound good. Everything is just aligned perfectly. So you have to ensure that that's the case, right? And the next thing is that the next thing is that you have to brace yourself for pushback. So, you know, you go into a presentation or a pitch and you feel like, okay, they just want to hear what I have. But there are some persons who want to dissect it. There's always that one person on the panel that feels like they can do it themselves, or they feel like what you're doing is a fad, or they feel like it's just not what it's cracked up to be, right? What you're selling is just not that good. So you have to be able to stay on your feet, to be ready for that person, be ready for that pushback, and to be able to defend what you're saying. Because the thing is, if you're crumbling under just like an initial rebuttal, how will you be able to stand up against the entire organization? You have to stick to your guns. If you know what you're talking about and you know that it's good and you know that it's right and you know that you have everything right, you have to stick to your guns and defend it. At the same time, you have to strike a balance between really hearing them out and seeing where they're coming from, find some validity in their argument, so you connect with them on that level, but then you assert yourself or you reassert yourself, right? So there's always that opportunity that persons will say, but what about this? But I don't believe, but, right? So you have to prepare for the buts, and you have to have sound arguments to justify your stance. So it's not just about presenting your ideas, it's about defending your ideas as well, which is something that many persons don't usually think that thought goes into the proposal or the pitch or whatever, but it goes into the, if you have any questions, let me know. That's where it comes in, right? And that comes to the last point. If it is that they really want information on what you're able to do in the presentation, just have a portfolio ready of things that you've already done, so that they know that if I can do this for other people and if I can execute like this in other aspects, then I can do it for you. I'm just not telling you how I'm going to do it for you specifically, but you see that I'm capable. You see that I have the means, the ideas, the capabilities, everything necessary to execute on your behalf. I'm just not telling you specifically from I'm not doing a content plan, or I'm not going to show my designs from head to toe and show you even the stitch that I use in the designs, right? I'm just not going to do that, but you can see what I've already done. You can see what I've already made. You can see my other business ideas. You can see how profitable they are. You can see where they are on the stock market, yada, yada, yada. So whatever you've done before speaks enough for you that you don't need to give them your ideas, because remember, you're protecting your intellectual property as well as protecting your self-esteem to the point where you know that you are good, because every rejection, it has ability, if you let it, to really chip away at your self-esteem, to bring in the imposter syndrome, to be like, I'm not really as good as I thought, because every pitch that I've done I haven't gotten. But you don't know where those pitch ideas went, baby girl or baby boy. You don't know where those pitch ideas went, and they probably were that good, So what not to do is to show all your cards. Like, I can't say it enough. I can't say it any other way. I can't emphasize it more than I've emphasized it before. The world, unfortunately, is not bound by ethical standards. If somebody knows that they can save $1, trust me, they will save $1, especially since they have no loyalty to you. They have no loyalty to you because firstly, you're not employed by them. Secondly, they don't know you from Adams, right? And at the same way, you can't be loyal to them either, right? You don't know if they'll use your ideas behind your back. You don't know if they'll discard your ideas, and all your hours working on it will be discarded, or the favors that you pulled will be like you're using up your favors, right? Only to not benefit from it because they never care anyway. So you have to ensure that you don't show all your cards, right? And you have to ensure that you don't give them all of you. Take something for yourself. Hold something back for that second interview or that second proposal. Because if you're good, if you give them a skeleton with just enough meat to to tantalize their senses and to like pique their interest, they will ask for a second interview. And in that second interview, you can use your judgment to go as big or as small as you want, right? But I'm telling you, if it is that you are good, you will get a call back. especially if you're good and they want more information to verify that you're that good, right? And if you don't get a call back, somebody else will call back. You don't have to worry. There's not just one fish in the sea, right? There are other persons that are biting, other companies that want your skills, right? Other investors that want your business idea. So it's not about rushing to get that get that bag, right? Some bags have to be fumbled so that you can put yourself in the position of greatness, because if you take a mediocre bag, your hand will be so heavy holding that bag that when a better opportunity comes along, you can't let go of that bag to grab that other one, right? But if you had just trusted the process in the first place, then you wouldn't have to worry about the fact that this opportunity that you put everything in just wasn't as good, right? So if it is that that opportunity is meant for you, then you will get that call back. And if somebody doesn't buy it, trust me, somebody else will. If you're consistent, you keep at it, you keep building your portfolio. So anyways, I think I've spoken enough already. As I said before, I don't know if I'm going to come on and do another one because I get really bored. So I might not come on and do another one. We will see. So if you found value in this, my Shantae talk, Shantae masterclass, I'll eventually need to find a name for this. My professional series, you can hit subscribe and you can let me know what you want me to talk about. No promises that I'll talk about it, but yeah.